Hey, Tim, I just spent $8,000 on my laptop.
Wow.
Yes, I know, but it'd be really cool if there was a way for me to sync multiple iPhones to do multicam recording with this machine. Yes, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but we can make this possible with the power of iPadOS. Okay, yeah, I think my wife has an old iPad I could use to put Final Cut on there. And does that iPad have an M1 chip? What? No. Yeah, you might need to buy a new iPad. Yeah, but Tim, I already spent like $300 on Final Cut Pro and $8,000 on this laptop. I'm just trying to tell you, the multicam feature is only available on the Final Cut for iPad app. What, is the iPad chip more powerful than the one in this computer? No. Okay, it's just, I have like 4 iPhones ready to go. I already paid several $100s for Final Cut and thousands of dollars on this Mac. Now you're telling me that my older iPad is no good and I have to still buy more equipment? Yes, now you're getting it? Ugh. Okay, well, does the Final Cut on the iPad still have all of the same features that I'm used to on the Mac version? You know, some of them, not quite all. Ugh, okay, and at least I get Final Cut on the iPad for free, right? Because I already bought it on the Mac? No, it's $5 a month. Oh my freaking god! So in my opinion, the Final Cut camera app was probably the most exciting, cool announcement we got at the iPad event last May, and I couldn't wait to try it out, mainly because it is free, does not require you to pay for a Final Cut membership. The only feature that Final Cut camera really offers that separates it from other professional iPhone apps out there is this multicam feature, which I will not be talking about in today's video. Sorry to waste your time if that's what you're looking for a review for, because it requires an iPad with an active Final Cut membership and an M1 chip to be in that iPad. For some reason, you cannot do this on a Mac, even though the Mac has even more powerful hardware, better battery life, same exact connectivity features, so don't ask me why, but I guess Apple was trying to come up with reasons for Final Cut on iPad to sound cool. So hopefully we get multicam recording added to the Mac version later, but aside from all of the iPad features, let's talk about the Final Cut camera app itself. I've recorded a couple of videos on it for my YouTube channel now, and I've got to admit, definitely compared to the default camera app on iOS, if you're recording a lot of videos like I am, this is absolutely a huge step up. Now, my overall consensus with the Final Cut camera app is that this is all about execution, less about features. So I very much prefer this app, first of all. I think it is a lot more handy, very clean, and yes, I've used the free Blackmagic app in the past. I've bought Blackmagic hardware. The software was pretty good, but I had to admit that the iPhone app was just a little bit more clunky to me. Like the UI, I feel like it's almost intentionally trying to be less user-friendly because a lot of people just associate unuser-friendly interfaces with, oh, this is a pro app because the UI just isn't that clean. It's very clunky, and I'm not trying to say the Blackmagic app is bad by any means, but the way Apple just cleaned up a lot of the menu options and toggles, I don't know, to me it blends in with iOS a lot better, and it's just very aesthetically pleasing, which maybe if you're the kind of professional that does freelance video work and you're trying to make videos look as hardcore fancy as possible for all of your clients, then I suppose something like a Blackmagic camera app might give you just a little bit more of that control that you're looking for. But that's not really me. As someone who makes a lot of YouTube videos, I'm looking more so for a professional video recording app that has the emphasis on being fast and speedy and responsive. So I'm often really not recording in log in ProRes because all of that quality gets kind of steamrolled by the YouTube algorithm anyway. A lot of it really comes down to lights, and personally, I feel like if you care that much about things like white balance or log recording versus HEVC recording, you're the kind of person that's probably not going to want to record on an iPhone in the first place. It's cool that Apple gives you all of these options to work with, but there's a lot more just quality of life features that Apple has seamlessly integrated within the Final Cut camera app that, in my opinion, are just objectively well implemented, and it's nice that you don't have to worry about setting up another account with another third-party service or downloading a pro camera app that's going to try to upsell you on some kind of premium membership or stuff ads into the UI and try to get you to pay to remove those ads. At least not yet. I'm sure Apple probably is going to turn the Final Cut camera into a membership in a few months, but at least right now it's been very consistent, and these little quality of life features that I appreciate are being able to see exactly how much storage you have left translated into minutes. So if I know that I'm going to record a video that's only 10 minutes, but it tells me there's 19 minutes left of space on the phone, then I'm good, instead of having to do all of that backwards math of going into storage and figuring out, do I have enough left over? I also appreciate having the sound levels right there on the preview monitor. Helps you know which microphone is plugged in, which now finally, yes, you can go into settings and see exactly which microphone is plugged in. Couldn't do that before on the basic camera app. Yes, there were ways to do it using third-party pro camera apps like the Blackmagic one, but this one, I don't know, they just keep the UI so clean. All the animations and stuff, everything just floats and expands just the right amount. And because I like things being designed in-house, like software and hardware all meshing together, something about those animations and something about the font selection and the menu settings and all that just makes this feel a lot more Apple, which I am a fan of. Despite all of my complaints and memeing, there are some things Apple genuinely does right. One, though, that I'm not entirely sure how I feel about is the replacement of pinch to zoom. Now you have this little zoom toggle, and I think we might be getting a little bit of a preview of what this capacitive capture button may be like on the iPhone 16 Pro, where basically you just have this little track bar and you hold it left or right to zoom in and out at different speeds. This is a little bit more familiar to people who used to record with, you know, camcorders of the past, where instead of having to zoom in with a ring, you would just zoom in by moving your finger left and right. And this takes a little bit of getting used to, for sure. I'm not entirely sold on it being necessarily better than pinching to zoom, but I do visualize this might be how the capacitive button works on the 16 Pro and Pro Max. To get zoom functionality can just slowly track one way or the other, and they'll probably have some nice taptic feedback to make it feel a little bit more immersive. But I appreciate the fact that in Final Cut Camera, all of your files get stored within a specific media folder, so these are not found in the traditional Photos app, which helps kind of manage my life a bit better. But from that media app, you can immediately airdrop it to your Mac. But the other thing I really like is that from that media folder in Final Cut Camera, you can delete it there once and then it's gone. You don't have to delete it and then go into recently deleted and hit delete a second time, which is what you have to do whenever you fall back to using the Photos app like before. And I've even noticed things like the frame rate on the preview not being quite as high refresh rate. I don't know if that's to preserve battery life or something, but just keeping energy performance as a factor while recording is very beneficial to me. I love the fact that they put your battery percentage right there in the preview window, even when you're in landscape mode, so that you know exactly how close you are to running out of battery when you're recording long videos. You know, there's so many people that are using iPhones more and more as their go-to camera, so these kinds of features that are now available for free for iPhone users is just wonderful, and I'm very thankful that Apple released this and decided not to paywall it, and I'm actively using it now. I'm gonna choose this for all of my YouTube recording, and all of my work going on at Telo Trucks will, of course, also be shot on iPhone, in case you weren't aware. But I'm very curious how you guys feel about Final Cut Camera. Are there features that you wish it had? For me, it's definitely just add all of the great things that you brought to the iPad app to the Mac, please, okay? There's a lot of people spending far more money on their Macs than they are their iPads, and they would like to utilize the multicam features and a much faster way to import footage that can fully unlock the speed of the USB-C port, which right now seems to be limited to recording to external SSDs. That's when you get the high speed, but if you just want to move footage from the phone to the Mac, you gotta fall back to using the Final Cut dated import method, which is really slow and really laggy, or you gotta use image capture, which is also pretty clunky, or you gotta use AirDrop, which can be finicky. So come on, Apple, let's work on what the professionals are actually using, the Macs. The iPad has had its time to shine, so feel free to drop all your thoughts down in the comments below, and thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos, so thanks again. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you all in the next one.